Hope you guys are doing well. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to daylight saving time. It's like a whole other world, right? Hope you got some rest. If not, you got at least an entire gloomy day ahead of you here. So if you want to get some sleep, if you run some errands right off the services this morning, you're in good shape because it is going to be just one of those gloomy Mondays that's on a Sunday type of feel. So good morning to all of you. Thanks for all your comments so far. Thank you, Aaron, because I was about to cover that. You got sleep there into Seymour. We'll talk more about that in just a second. But thanks for that report because you're kind of leading to where I'm heading to here in just a few minutes. Good morning, Ellen, kids, and the fur babies. Yes, that's the reason why a lot of folks have to get up early. And Tim, yes, work always just always gets in the way, right? Dottie says no snow. Is Dottie alone on this idea? Surely not. Surely. Well, she may be. Obviously, Dave and Gina are. They're what, in 70 degrees. And Andrew, let's put away the snow gear and get out the lawnmower. Oh, look, let's not rush that either. I have severe allergies. I think most of you know that. I'm like bubble boy, right? So I'm excited about the idea of getting outside and working on the pond, getting Harry out in the yard all the time. The turtles are already up in the pond itself with the koi. So I'm excited about getting out there and working in the yard. Lawn mowing, oh boy, I used to love it as a kid. I used to beg, whether it was my dad or my brother, to let me just mow one strip, and then I was satisfied. And that's when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I was fascinated by lawnmowers as a kid, but I think most kids are, right? We all had that toy one that has the bubbles that come out of it. Maybe I was just a weird 80s kid, but I'm pretty sure I'm not alone on that. But then when you get to be an adult, obviously you just don't like it anymore. It becomes more of a pain, and that's and allergies doesn't make for a good combination. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to cover where we're at so far today when it comes to the rain, sleets, and snow in some cases. There's another chance coming our way later on tonight, especially into tomorrow morning. We'll talk about that, and then we'll get into the long term. The pattern is still not a spring look to the pattern now. It's certainly more wintry overall, and that's the reason why I think we're going to have this delayed start here into the spring after that big jump that we had in the winter to spring, which made a lot of sense. But then again, you guys knew this was in the works and certainly expected. So this hopefully isn't too shocking. On the snowboard, I'll keep the light rain, snow chance kind of mixed in the forecast here today. Again, there's another chance coming in later tonight and tomorrow. And then next Friday, We're timing these fronts out where they're mainly on Fridays. So we'll have another day of falling temps, but it's not looking to be anything big, at least right now. We'll see how this will grow into the data trends as we head down the road here. But it's right now, I don't think anything too major to worry about. All right, so let's get into where we're at in E-Town at the moment. Yeah, foggy, kind of gloomy, drizzly type of scenario. That's kind of the rule that we're seeing across wave country today. We've had a lot of reports of sleet and rain mixed in. When I came into the station early this morning, it was not rain, I can tell you that. It was certainly bouncing back and forth between rain and snow at times on my windshield. It was right on the edge the entire time I was traveling into the city. So that's been the rule for a lot of you. I think for the overnight, if you've been awake all night, that's been the rule. Most of your snow has been to the northeast of Louisville, where Indy is now reporting a little more than a half inch on the ground. Cincinnati, we're recording about 1.5 inches on the ground there. So some areas are waking up with snow on the ground. A lot of you are just waking up to wet roads. Now, even though some spots like Seymour is at 32, North Vernon 31, it's still not to the point where you have to worry about icy roads. You've got to get colder than that this time of the year, and especially in a daytime event to have a big impact. So we're not worried about that. Wet roads, you bet. And that could still be slick, so just be careful. We had the morning round of sleet, snow, rain, sneet, what do you want to call it? That moved out here fast. It's already out of here. Now we're getting the next little round. Where's my radar going? Okay, well, you see the water view. I'll get back to the radar trend. Actually, let me do that real fast. Hold on one second. Let me fix this because I really want to cover this round right here. This is the report we got. Now, these are a little old on the snow sleet reports. You see the round of sleet and rain that we had during the overnight. And a lot of the reports came in from MPing, which is a separate service, but you can use this on, if you guys have Radar Scope, you can use that, or there's an online version too you can sign up for. But when you submit your reports, they go by your GPS location and they automatically pop up here, that's pretty cool, right? So a lot of you were sending in rain and sleet reports last night. Now we're getting this new batch that's coming in. Now the report we're getting there, right on the border of Jennings and Jackson, is actually snow. But you just saw Aaron's comment that it's more sleet. It's going to be right on the edge of that, especially as we get a little further into daylight here today. The radar sensitivity, where we can really home in on the size and the shape of what's falling from the cloud. When you see all one color, all red like this, that tells us that most everything that's falling out of that cloud is the same exact shape, which in many cases is going to be a snowflake. And based on some of the cameras in that area, it looks like it will be kind of a snow showery type of setup, sleet mixed in at times, certainly, but again, not causing any problems. That will continue to expand, though. So that's going to continue to feed into what will be a drizzly setup more so for a lot of us in wave country today. Our next system of interest is right here, near the Twin Cities. Has anyone been to the Twin Cities before? Up there in Minneapolis, that low pressure is going to dive to the south and to the east. As it does drop down to the south and east, majority of the snow that will travel with it will be along and north of its path. So mainly another show for Chicago, around Indy and points north. Same story for Ohio. We will be on the southern side of this, but this thing's going to be spinning the whole time as it moves through the Ohio Valley. Don't you love my drawings? All the way into West Virginia on Monday. So as it spins to the south and east, the little spokes, the little tail, if you will try to produce some snow showers at times, especially on Monday. That is going to be possible. The latest modeling for what we call a snow squall potential, which is basically just a heavy snow shower you can pick up. Their biggest threat is more visibility than snowfall can be, and this is certainly the case for tomorrow. Now, in January, these are big on snowfall and visibility both. They can be hampering, in fact, on travel in a big way. Tomorrow's not exactly that kind of a stuff. It's more of an inconvenience on visibility, not so much slick roads, okay? But the parameter is elevated, but notice, and it may be hard to see here on the map, and I apologize, it is more elevated into the Cincinnati area and north and east of Louisville, so it's more focusing on the path of the low. That's the NAM modeling, and here is the GFS, which is similar on placement, not as aggressive on intensity. And the GFS, in my experience, has done better on snow squall parameter than the NAM does. So I like what the GFS is doing. It's not overly crazy with the parameter, but it does show that potential is there. Certainly if you're traveling north on 65 or up 71 tomorrow, if you're planning to take you into Ohio around Cincinnati, there may be some issues there. at times of visibility and slick roads. But here locally, it's just going to be a reduction in the visibility as they move on through. So visibility a lot here. Thing is, that parameter comes back, by the way, at the end of the week. More on that in a second. Here's Futurecast showing the rest of the day today. You'll see that mix of drizzle and flurries lingering. I undercut our temperatures several degrees for highs today, and I'm not sure I went low enough. We may be on the really low end of the scale on numbers today. So it wouldn't surprise me some of you will stay in the 30s all day. I still kept Louisville going above 40 for a few hours to be optimistic. I mean, it's Sunday. Then tonight, the first little spoke, if you will, as it dives down from the Twin Cities to our area. That will be the first little round. Now, this is going to be after you go to bed tonight. This is after midnight. The only thing we got to watch with this is that there are some hints. This could be freezing drizzle in a couple of cases and not rain or a snow combination. It could be more of a drizzly setup, but temperatures may be getting cold enough that there could be some spots around bridges and overpasses we may have to watch. I don't see this as a big concern at the moment, but tomorrow morning on sunrise, tune in, and we'll just see if we have anything going on at that point early in the day. Otherwise, we'll end up with more spokes kind of pinwheeling around through the day. And these will be the snow showers, if you will, and again, more snow squally in around areas of Cincinnati. You see the darker blues that show up, and I like what this is doing. It's focusing more north and east of town, more so than to the west. So that makes sense. That kind of fits the pattern. Could even see the sun try to come out in a few of these tomorrow, at least in between, although any sun tomorrow, just like on a day with scattered thunderstorms, any sun tomorrow would actually promote more development, more intense snow showers. So just like it works in the same way of creating fuel for a thunderstorm, it would do the same for these snow showers tomorrow. Not going to hype these up too much because I don't think it's, again, a big issue on amount. It's just visibility. Then we get a quiet, small period. But the problem here is that when we clear the sky out, we're going to get really cold here, guys. Coldest we've been since the early portion of February, and in some cases, the end of January. Now, the lows in Indiana right now is still to be in the teens. The thing here is that a lot of the flowers that have bloomed and look so pretty right now, even though they're trying to really make us miserable with their pollen, those blooms are at risk of dying out and being damaged by the cold weather that's coming our way. So this could really create kind of an ugly scene to spring. It could do that. It could ruin some of the early blooms out there. Certainly a lot of the trees that are budding out and blooming may feel the impact of this and may end up cutting their lifespan a little short on those blooms, unfortunately. So if you have anything outside that you do want to protect and you want to keep it going longer, you're going to have to protect them the best you can from these really cold nights, especially Tuesday night and early Wednesday. After this goes by, we get into a very dynamic system that is coming our way for the end of the week. Now, the good news about it as we head into Thursday is the way it's trending in our direction. The south wind is going to kick in. We're looking at a lot of folks actually will get into the 70s across the southern part of the country. Louisville is right there. And we'll end up with, wait, what is this? Oh, well, that was a very clever spam message. I'm like, what are they talking about? Okay, sorry about that. I'll get this fixed. Wait a minute. What's wrong with my scroll bar? What clock? I can't see my scroll bar. Which one are you talking about? On the weather map? Or the one on TV? If you want to talk about the one on TV, I promise you, I think it's the one on TV because I do see a 7. Okay, I can see that feed on another screen in here. I will find that and fix it. Sorry. I can barely see it because I'm old, but I know what you're talking about. So thank you, Raymond. I appreciate that. We'll get that fixed. It's always the first day of daylight saving. It always causes problems, right? Okay, anyway, the end of the week, we have a chance for warm air to get funneled into the area. Unfortunately, it is a one-day stint because as the low pressure moves by, we'll end up with a wave of rainfall. Now, we were talking about this low last week that there would be 2 of them, one forming here, one that could form in the tail of the front. Will this one, though, form at all? If it does, it would slow the front down. We would actually get warmer than 70. We would face a chance of even some thunder out of that. And then we may face something wintry with a southern track. The trend on this, the GFS was first on the modeling to keep the idea going. This is going to be a very progressive system and that the main low to the north is going to be the main one on the map, which will limit anything forming at all on the southern side, which means we shorten the warm spell. We reduce the thunderstorm potential, which I guess no one's going to complain about that. And we also will reduce the idea of a southern wave or for snow lovers, a chance of something more significant on snow. So it's kind of mixed feelings on this one, right? So it moves on by. I do think we're going to have falling temperatures on Friday. I think our high will be early in the day. It will fall. It's going to be windy, and there is a chance still to get that rain band to go to snow at some point, but it's going to be very brief. Now, there is an issue with this low being the main one in town now for next weekend. If that's the case, and this forecast holds, again, it could still change. This little guy to the south could come back in future model runs. I wouldn't rule it out. But so far, the trend is away from that idea. But if this main feature is the dominant one as the way it's looking at the moment, that will mean windy conditions next weekend, cold, and there could be some snow showers that may try to graze the area as well as we head into Saturday and maybe even Sunday. So next weekend right now does not scream warm at all if this pattern holds. And the overall trend is to keep this going. We're going to keep seeing these cold blasts get locked in across Canada, but they're not brutal. It's not January cold. It's just colder than normal. And as I mentioned before, the only thing that really does is it makes it tough to get into the spring talk again and get excited about spring when you keep having these waves that linger like this. We get them every year, it seems like, especially in the past decade. We've had them a lot in March and April. And this year is probably going to be one of those years we're going to have to deal with it again. Now, there is a system that wants to sneak in next week, not the new one coming, but the one after that wants to try to do maybe something interesting. Right now, we'll just leave that to the side. But the pattern is not a very warm one, is the overall storyline. Okay. Any questions on this? I kind of rambled for a long time. Tracy, snowing hard now in North Vernon. If you can snap a picture, Tracy, do that. Send it to me or send it on the Wave Weather app as well. That way it'll be in our system. And you may see it on TV as well. Thanks for sending that. I appreciate that report. Doris, this cold weather is awful. It is awful this time of the year. I don't mind it when it's supposed to be cold. I mean, I can handle that part. But when the seasons get out of whack, that's when things get a little weird, right? Misty, I just got on here. Are we getting snow? Just snow showers. Nothing too exciting there, Misty, unfortunately. So don't get too alarmed that I'm on here on a Sunday. It's just because I'm working. It's not because that we have a snowstorm on the way. So I don't want you guys to take SnowTALK being on a different day for a reason. Get the code out of here this week and let the kids have a sunny and fun spring break. That would be nice. Mike, how long do you think this pattern will last? Well, that's a good question, Mike. At least through the first few days of April, and it could go longer than that. There are signs we will get back into a warmer pattern by mid-April, hopefully in time for Thunder over Louisville at that point, because we got a lot going on, as you guys know, so we kind of want that warmer trend. But I don't see many warm surges at all for the rest of March. I think it's going to be, there will be a couple here and there, like the one this week on Thursday. But majority of the time, we're going to be dealing with this blocking pattern, these low pressures getting cut off across the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Eastern Canada. And as long as that blocking pattern happens, the good news is you cut down on your severe thunderstorm potential quite a bit. But the bad news is you limit your warm spells that we get so used to and get spoiled by. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all as always. I'm going to jump off here. I get ready because we're back on the air again here in just a few minutes for another round of sunrise. So keep the reports coming. And if I see some of your photos come in, either on my Twitter, send them anywhere, you can try to reach me. And I'll try to get some of them on the show coming up here at 9 o'clock. All right, guys. I appreciate you as always. You'll have a good rest of your Sunday. Enjoy your week as well. I will be back here again tomorrow. If I don't see you later on, I'll be back here tomorrow morning on the blog itself at normal time at about 9:30 on your Monday. All right, guys. Have a good one. Stay safe and enjoy daylight saving time.